Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
British Spy Stories. It's the finale of Season 6. Stay tuned after the double episode for a preview of Season 7, Rogue Assassin, on British Spy Stories. Season 6, Counter-Strike, the finale. Episode 31. Gabby can feel her damaged skin pulling against the stitches in her stomach as she parks the tiny larder on a side road near the warehouse. She kills the headlights, and the place is plunged into darkness around her. She gets out and throws 2 SA-80 automatic weapons around herself, one on each shoulder. Back at the safe house, she had loaded 8 spare magazines into her battle dress pouches. So she has 300 rounds at her disposal for this attack, plus her Smith & Wesson handgun, and the 100 drones that Agent Talgarth will control from the RN-27B battle unit. Proceeding to target, she says, into her comms. Acknowledged? Talgarth's voice crackles in the earpiece. After a minute, Gabby can see the lights from the warehouse cutting up into the night sky. Commence Wave 1, she says, then waits under cover for the first drones to arrive. She has a flip-down screen on her comms headset that can be hinged over her left eye. By default, it displays the main screen in the RN-27B control container, but Talgarth can switch through any video feed to Gabby's headset. She flips it down and can see the camera feed in the leading drone as it approaches the warehouse. Gabby can hear the motors now as well, as the wave formation gets nearer. In range, says Talgarth. Engage. Above her in the sky, Gabby can just see the outline of the 3 leading drones, arrayed in a triangle like birds flying south for the winter. Suddenly they drop, and all hit the ground simultaneously, in front of the bay doors. They explode and jettison fuel across the front of the building, igniting it and creating a roaring inferno. Now Gabby moves. She runs to the fire exit at the back of the place. She is up the stairs and into the offices. She pulls out a miniature camera from her battle dress pocket and slams it onto the glass to give Talgarth a view of the inside of the premises. Gabby takes internal stairs, back down to the ground level, and stops at a door that will give her a view of the Gorgon machine in action. She opens the door a few millimeters to see the state of affairs. The Spetsnaz are all around the perimeter. The ones nearest the flames are herding whitecoats to stand on the other side of the machine as it scans, converts, and fabricates cloned tank parts. Gabby moves out and lets off a burst of rounds that hit 2 of the guards. They fall down and she ducks back inside the door to wait for a reaction to her skirmish. She runs through the complex linked sets of internal rooms and finds a window that gives her another angle to the warehouse floor. Vesna and Orloff are gathering any whitecoats not directly involved with operating the Gorgon and pushing them off into the main office at the front of the building. Wave 2, please, she says in her headset, and Talgarth raises more drones into the air. One Spetsnaz is actively searching the rooms near Gabby, and she can hear him clattering about and getting closer. After 10 seconds, he opens the door to the room she's in. He walks in, but she's ready, and a single shot showers his brains onto the wall behind him. She runs back through the corridors and moves to the next phase of her attack. Gabby swings an SA-80 around her body and runs into the warehouse. 3 guards open fire. She empties a magazine and hits 2 of the men, one fatally and one in the leg, who falls back against the wall. The third one she misses, and he keeps coming. She has no time to load a fresh magazine or get her second SA-80 across her body before he reaches her. He is strong, and she can feel his punch to her stomach tear into her stitches. Gabby reaches across to her combat knife in her utility belt. She brings it out and makes a thrust. She hits flesh on his arm, but he's not slowed. She manages to twist and get another stab in, this time up high. The knife hits his cheek and the blade cuts into his mouth. She pulls it out and has her handgun ready. She puts one shot into his neck. The second wave of drones releases its cargo. This time Talgarth flies them in through the remains of the burnt-out bay doors and tries to get as near to the Gorgon machine as possible, but the plan falls short. The drones do, however, detonate inside the warehouse and take out 2 more guards and 3 whitecoats. "Keep rolling with your attacks, Talgarth," shouts Gabby into her headset. "Don't wait for my command." "Acknowledge, Mum." As the main objective in this battle zone for Gabby's physical presence is to recover the X-rays and thus stop further cloning in the future, should that ever be attempted. She runs up towards the scanning section of the machine. A whitecoat is placing the last X-ray on the glass, despite the furore around him. The scan light flashes and he lifts the lid, then drops the last X-ray into the suitcase that Orlov had bought from Florence. The man sees Gabby approaching along the side wall. He slams the case shut and runs for the office, but she has her SA-80 in her hands and downs him before he reaches the sanctuary of the doorway. She collects the case from the ground, where it skidded away after the dead man's fingers lost their grip. "Recovery drone, Talgarth, please." "On its way, Mum. 30 seconds. I'm attaching geotag number 3 to the case," says Gabby. "Lock the drone onto it." She fishes a black label from her pocket and laces it around the handle. Gabby runs to an outside door and pushes out into the night. A drone descends from the air near her. Gabby clicks the case handle onto the hook under the drone, and it accelerates away with the X-rays. "Check the X-rays for completeness, Talgarth, when you get them back to the safe house." "Yes, Mum." A Spetsnaz guard comes out of the night, and an arm appears at Gabby's throat. He presses against her windpipe, and she grabs him and tries to pull it away, but to no avail. She needs a tactic. They're near the edge of the loading bay, so she turns her body and the attacker turns with her. Gabby pushes their combined center of gravity towards the edge, and she can feel them start to fall. In the air, she pulls her weight around until she is above the attacker as they land. She can hear his vertebrae crack on the concrete when the 2 of them make impact. Gabby is expecting him to push through the pain, but he doesn't move. She leans over his face, and only now does she see that he landed on a locking spike set into the ground, the end of which is sticking out through his neck. Gabby stands up, and a swarm of 5 drones swing in from the sky above her head, armed with machine guns. They fly into the warehouse and start firing on the guards who are there. Gabby watches as 2 guards are brought down by the attack, but the other drones are downed before they can do more. "I only have limited access to the inside, Mum, as the bay doors are my only ingress point." "Send me a drone with an explosive device on it," says Gabby. "I'll place it manually." She runs further from the warehouse and waits for the drone to arrive. It descends 2 feet from her, and she reaches out her hand as the rotors stop. With the drone in one hand and one of her SA-80s in the other, Gabby runs back inside. She storms through the remains of a bay door, and 2 guards open fire nearby. One hits her shoulder and shreds the cloth of her battle dress. She squeezes her trigger, and a burst of bullets scatter the guards for the few seconds that she needs. Gabby runs to the side wall of the warehouse and places the explosive drone on the ground right up against the brickwork. The 2 guards fire again. She hits one fatally with her automatic weapon, but the other takes cover behind storage cabinets. Set the timer, Talgarth. It's running, Mum. 3 seconds. You need to get away. Gabby runs. The guard steps out from cover. Bullets ping off the concrete around her feet. The man gives chase, just as the drone countdown ends. The side wall is blown out and away into the night. The guard is taken with it, and his body is pulled apart with the force. "You've got your larger access, Talgarth," shouts Gabby. "Thank you, Mum. I've checked the x-rays from the recovery case. It's half of them." Gabby runs across the floor towards the offices as drones start to pour in through the new massive breach in the side wall. She unholsters her Smith & Wesson as she walks inside the office. Alexei is there with his Yerigin pistol already trained on her. "We have half the x-rays, Orlov, so you can't fabricate a whole tank now." "You're too late. We scanned those first." He smiles at her. "The information is already being used to make cloned parts, Gabby." "Where are the other x-rays?" "Long gone. Adric took them. He left an hour ago." "Where's he going?" she says. "Oh, he's coming back. With 2 of his favourite toys." "What's she talking about?" "Look outside. They should be here any moment." "Mum," Talgarth's voice says on comms. "On the road and headed to the building. Vesna's bought 2 Russian tanks from the factory." There's a tremendous blast from outside. "He's just taken out 10 drones with 1 shell," says Talgarth. Gabby is only a few feet from Alexei. She swings her handgun and brings it down on his temple, and he falls away unconscious. "On my way, Ivy." Gabby runs outside. The 2 T-90M battle tanks are rolling off the road and onto the site, bringing the wire fencing down as they advance. Gabby makes a split-second decision and runs up to the second tank that is further back. She leaps up onto the bodywork. The driver has his hatch open and he starts to climb out as she approaches. He has a handgun, but she is prepared before he is. She takes her combat knife and plunges it into his neck. Blood spurts onto her face, and she grabs his body, pulls it out and throws it off the tank to the ground. Vesna, who is driving the first tank, has seen what's happened. He rotates his turret and drops it to aim at Gabby. A second massive blast echoes around her, but the shell pounds into the warehouse on the other side of the road. She drops into the driver's seat of the tank and can see the second set of x-rays stuffed into a storage space near her feet. Gabby pulls hard on the controls and brings the machine around. She heads directly for Vesna. The impact as she rams the tank on his vibrates the whole tank around her, but she keeps going. Gabby's T-90 pushes Vesna's machine back until he hits the boundary wall. Gabby keeps pushing, and his tank rises up at the front with hers underneath. "Incendiary drone, Talgarth, in the tank." A drone appears above Vesna. He doesn't notice it. Talgarth moves her thumb on the controller, and the drone drops into the driver's compartment. Then a blinding flash of light and flame engulfs the man. He has no time to cry out because he's dead before the pain registers in his brain. Gabby reverses her tank and turns up the ramp to the bay doors. She crashes into the warehouse and demolishes what remains of the doors. Bullets ricochet off the tank's bodywork, but she's not stopping. She hits the scanning section of the Gorgon, and it's crushed under the weight of the tank. She tries to reverse off it, but the tank gets stuck, and she can't maneuver any more. She tugs the case out of its storage, jumps out, and throws the bag strap around her. Now she swings both SA-80 automatic weapons from her back and sprays the guards as she runs to cover. "Carrier drone," she shouts, and Talgarth sends a tiny machine into the warehouse to find Gabby. As the second case is lifted up into the air, guards try to hit it but fail, and it slides away into the night sky. As she crouches behind metal shelving, Gabby can feel blood on her stomach. She lifts her t-shirt to see that the stitches have broken and the wound is gaping. She looks around, and there's a strip of metal on the floor near her that was caught in the incendiary explosion. One end is still glowing red. Gabby picks up the cooler end, lifts her t-shirt, and plunges the hot end against her stomach wound. Her eyes water and she thinks her jaw will break as she clenches her teeth with the pain. She pulls off the metal, throws it away, and falls against the shelves. The agony pushes through every part of her, and she sits utterly still as the pain racks her body. Her breaths stutter out. "Mom," says Talgarth. She can't answer yet. "Mom," repeats Talgarth. When she talks, the words are shallow. "Yes, Ivy." "Are you injured, Mum?" There's another second before she can speak again. "No." "Sit rep, Mum. The scanning section is destroyed. One printer destroyed. All X-rays recovered. There are about 30 cloned tank parts finished. We'll need to melt them down in the hopper stage." Gabby grunts as the endorphins start to work. "Thank you, Talgarth." She pushes her body up on one arm, then stands, wincing as the shots of pain ride through her muscles. Gabby pulls off one SA-80 and drops it to the ground, then loads her final magazine into the other weapon. "Let's go, Ivy." She runs and opens fire. 4 guards see her this time. One gives chase, while the others shoot their weapons at her. The chasing man is fast and catches up as she reaches the remaining printer section. She flips the gun onto her back and turns to face him. She gets her fingers to his handgun and yanks it out from his grasp, then throws it away across the warehouse floor. They step around each other. Gabby kicks his leg. He tries to grab her foot, but misses. He gets a grip on her body, and they're pushed close to the printer section and its conveyor belt of finished hot parts, slowly bouncing along from the atomic level printing stage. He hits her in the face twice, and she gets a punch to his stomach. He gets an arm around her neck, but she moves to one side and barges him into a fall. The man doesn't notice where he's falling, and his body rams onto the conveyor belt of hot metal parts. The man's face melts around a circular part, and Gabby can smell the burning flesh as he bobs along on the conveyor with the other finished parts. "Incendiary drone incoming, Mum. They're locked onto that printer. You need to move." Gabby starts to run. A wall of drones appears 20 feet away and they start to drop. Gabby is too close. Back in the control unit, Talgarth watches the screens as the drones explode, and Gabby is engulfed in flame. Episode 32. The screens in front of Agent Talgarth are filled with video feeds of the warehouse. The cameras on the explosive drones are destroyed on detonation, so she has no clear view of where Gabby is and the extent of the impact of the blast on the woman. "Mom," she says into the comms system. She waits for Gabby to acknowledge. "Mom." 1 second goes by. 2.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
"I'm fine, Ivy. I have shrapnel damage to my clothing, but I escaped the flames. What do we have left to do?" Get the completed cloned tank parts back into the hopper. It will melt them. Be careful, Mum. The hopper stage runs at 1400 centigrade. Noted, Talgarth, thank you, says Gabby. Keep attacking the guards to give me cover. There's cooling water in the tank at the end of the printing stage of the Gorgon machine. That has been used to bring the parts back to room temperature after cloning. There are also protective gloves and tongs that have been discarded by whitecoats, lying on the ground near the water. As Gabby dons the gloves and starts to throw the parts from the conveyor into the water, Talgarth starts to send the remaining drones into the warehouse. These are fitted with flame throwers as their weapon. 6 guards are still active, and Talgarth flies the drones in complex, weaving paths to avoid attack, then repeatedly dives with each drone to spew flames at the guards and give Gabby space to work. There are 30 remaining parts on the conveyor, and Gabby gets them submerged to cool them off so she can handle them, then starts to pick them out of the water. There's a large plastic bucket near the machine, and she loads as many as she can into it, then drags it across the hopper and throws the parts inside. She returns for a second trip. This time, a guard has escaped the drone attacks and makes a run for her. She still has her SA-80 across her shoulder, and she turns and presses the trigger, but her magazine is empty. He pushes her to the floor and kicks her in the stomach, on her wound. She struggles to stand as his onslaught continues. Talgarth sees the attack and twists her fingers on the controller to bring a drone towards the man. It's less than a metre behind him, when she pulls the trigger and his head becomes a ball of flame. Gabby lays on the ground for a moment as the pain is racking her body. Eventually, she rolls over on the concrete and manages to half stand. The final bucket load of parts seems heavier as her strength is draining away from her damaged body. She loses her grip on the bucket twice on the journey to the hopper, and each time it's harder to start pulling it again. She lifts each part, one by one, and throws them into the yawning furnace inside the hopper. As she picks up the last piece, a bullet hits the machine near her head. She turns around. It's Orlov. They look at each other, neither moving. I told you, Alexei. He raises his handgun. You lost, she says. We have the X-rays. The cloned parts are destroyed. Vesna's dead. He fires and it grazes the skin on her leg. But she doesn't move her gaze from his tired face. Others will come after you if I die, Alexei. I'm just one. We're an army. Nothing ends. Talgarth breathes steadily as she flies the final drone in through the hole in the end wall of the warehouse. She watches the video feed and can see Gabby and Orlov standing opposite each other. He has his gun pointing directly at Gabby. Talgarth rolls her lips together and brings the drone around until Orlov is central in the image. She flicks open the safety cover on top of the controller. Her finger hovers over the red button. Then she pushes it. Alexei's knuckles turn white as he starts to put pressure on the trigger of his handgun. There's a rush of air and the drone bullet goes through his head, behind his eyes, and he stops. Gabby can see the blood seep out from the exit wound on his temple. Tell my wife and children, he falters. Tell my wife and children that I love them. She watches his legs give way, and Alexei Orlov collapses onto the ground. Gabby raises the final cloned part into the hopper. "You need to get out of there, Mum. The hopper will overheat with that many parts in it." "Any guards left?" says Gabby. "All dead or inoperative, Mum. Most of the white coats are huddled in the office." Gabby tries to run, but her leg wound and her stomach tear push pain into her body, but she goes as fast as she can to the office that Vesna and Orlov had been using. Sure enough, 20-odd scared engineers are at the back of the room. "Get out of here. It's unstable," she says, but they don't move. "We've done what we came to do. Now go. I'm not going to kill you." She stands aside and the men and women run out of the front of the building, then scatter in all directions, up and down the road, to escape the warehouse. Gabby follows them out and takes a wide arc up the roadway, then into the woodland. As she reaches the trees, the warehouse ignites in a massive explosion. The walls are pushed out and the roof comes down. A dust cloud rises around the rubble, and flames lick out from the destroyed Gorgon machine. She watches it for a moment, then turns and continues her journey to get back to her car. It's dawn when Gabby wakes. Slowly her mind tracks across the damage to her body. She can feel pain from her stomach wound, but it's been rebandaged now, after she'd reached the safe house in the early hours of today, and Talgarth had used all of the remaining contents of the medical kit to repair her. Gabby lays in the morning light, then gets up, showers, dresses, and walks outside. The place is quiet and peaceful here, away from the traffic noise. There are no sounds at first, then she hears something. An engine. A low rumble. The sound gets louder. She walks further out to the road junction, and a black Harley-Davidson motorbike rolls around the corner, with a bald biker on the back, wearing round sunglasses. As she stands there, another bike appears, and another, then a tricycle Harley, until there are 20 bikes coming up the road towards her. They pull up and surround Gabby. "Gentlemen," she says in Russian, "what can I do for you?" The first biker swings his leg off the machine and walks towards her. He is tall and large, then removes his sunglasses. "Mom, we're your extraction team. I'm Timothy Baines, Agent Montgomery. You're going home, Mom." Gabby laughs out loud like she hasn't laughed for a long time. "Where are we headed, Montgomery?" "Finnish border, Mom. It's a 2-day ride. 1,800 miles. Are you all MI6? "Yes, Mom. I recruited them personally." Gabby wakes Talgarth, and they collect their belongings together. The women are offered pillions, but Gabby insists on driving, and one of the men lets her drive with Talgarth behind her. Agent Montgomery starts his machine, and the others all do the same, and the bikes move out to the main road. It's been 5 days since Maxime was put in an induced coma in the hospital, and Inessa waits by the glass and watches him, just like every day. The door behind her opens. She's expecting her daughter Lydia, but it's Agent Garnett. "Mrs. Orlova, can we talk?" "You nearly murdered my son, Julie. Why are you here?" "I said I didn't want to see you again." "I have some news about your husband, madam." Inessa knows what she's going to say, and knew this day was coming. But despite her foresight, she says, "Oh yes, what's that?" "I'm afraid he's dead, Mrs. Orlova. I'm sorry." "Killed by MI6, I take it," says Inessa. "I haven't been told any details," says Garnett. "Apart from he was in Russia, over by the Urals. He hated it there. Too cold, he used to say. Is there anything I can do?" "I think you've done enough, my girl, don't you?" Inessa says. "If that's all, madam, I'll leave you to it." Inessa's solitude rolls back into the room as the door closes, and she thinks about her family. 2 minutes later, one of the nurses who's been looking after Maxime walks in with Dr. Lombardi, a grey-haired man in his 50s, with the kindest eyes Inessa has ever seen. Lydia arrives behind them with coffees from the machine down the corridor. "We're ready," says Lombardi, and he leads them to Maxime's bedside. "We've reduced the propofol over the last 24 hours. That's the sedative that's been keeping him asleep." He pauses in case they have any questions, but they don't. Lombardi indicates to the nurse, and she injects a stimulant to the catheter on Maxime's hand. "It'll take a few minutes," he says. "I'll come back. We're monitoring his brain activity to ensure a smooth re-entry." He leaves them to watch the boy. 20 minutes later, Maxime's eyes are moving rapidly under the lids. "He's coming round, Mama," calls Lydia from across the room, and the two women are standing either side of the bed when he opens his eyes. "You came back to me," says Inessa, and he smiles sleepily. "This family is made of tough stuff," says his sister. "I knew you'd survive." The boy doesn't talk at first, but after Dr. Lombardi has checked Maxime's vital signs and watched the brain function monitor for a minute, he is happy. "He needs to rest, Signora. He'll stay here for a week or so. Then he'll be better off at home, if you can provide peace and quiet for him to recover." "Of course. Thank you, Doctor." An hour later, Maxime is fully awake, and they lean him up against pillows in the light of the day. Inessa takes a deep breath. "Your father? Children?" "He's dead, isn't he, Mama?" says Maxime. "Lydia and I always thought he wouldn't make it." "What's going to happen to us, Mama?" says Lydia. "Are we going to be poor?" "No, we're not. I sold some jewellery, and it turns out to be worth 20 million euros. That's nearly 2 billion rubles. I've bought a house in Switzerland with some of the money." Lydia is frowning, and her mother notices. "I have also secured a place for you, Lydie, in a private school in Moscow, so you can still be with your friends." The girl runs around the bed and hugs her mother. "I haven't arranged anything for you, Maxime, as I didn't know what you'd want to do now." "I know what I'd like, Mama." She waits and watches his eyes, that are the same as his father's. "I'd like to be a spy, Mama, and put right what Papa destroyed. We'd be respected again." Tom looks in the bedroom mirror and adjusts his tie. The valet, standing next to him, lifts the jacket up, and Tom turns and slips his arms inside, then checks in the mirror again. "Thank you, Rocco," he says, and the man leaves silently as Tom turns to the window. His eyes scan across the landscape of the Apennine Mountains outside. He'll never grow tired of looking at that view, of the rise and fall of the land as it disappears to the horizon. He walks downstairs to the sitting room and out to the patio. A dozen staff are putting the finishing touches to a long row of tables that have been set out on the lawn to seat 100 people. He looks across the gardens and can see the driveway to the house that is now lined with their guests, Bentleys and Maseratis. Tom turns and walks to the formal garden. The sun is shining, and he makes his way through the chairs to sit down. The string quartet has been playing Bach, but it now starts Schubert's Ave Maria, and the guests all stand. Tom looks back. Adelina's bridal veil is caught on a slight breeze, and it billows up before she catches it and puts it back in place. A man whom Tom doesn't know walks beside her in place of her dead father. She reaches the front, and the man unlaces his arm from hers, and she takes 2 steps towards Tom. The priest raises his hands in blessing. we are gathered here today to bear witness as Adelina and Dimitri enter into the holy sacrament of marriage. She turns to Tom and smiles. And, after a moment, Tom smiles back at her. The bikes take Gabby and Talgarth west across the Russian heartland, from the Ural Mountains to the city of Perm, then on across the flat farmland to the Vyatka River. The group camp in the woods near Kirov, and the bikers relate stories of the missions that they've been on, as it's unusual for them to have guests around the campfire in their line of work. As the sun rises on the second day, the bikes pass Vitegra and Rimskoy, before turning towards Finland and crossing the border on Route 9111. They finally pull up into a woodland clearing near the town of Kikinkoski. There's a flat area of land beyond the tree line. Just walk over there, Mum. Montgomery points ahead to them. We'll go straight back. She shakes his hand. Useful to know you exist, Montgomery. Thank you for the extraction. Thank you, Mum. The boys have enjoyed someone else in the gang for a couple of days. He turns and remounts his bike. Then the 20 machines roar off back down the trail. When Gabby and Talgarth reach the edge of the trees, the sky is clear and blue. Two silhouettes appear on the horizon to the south and get closer. Eventually they can see these are two Royal Air Force Chinooks. The machines hover in the air and blow the leaves and grass as they descend. The rear cargo ramp opens on one craft, and Sir Bernard Mackintosh walks down the ramp, then across the grassland towards them. Gabrielle, Ivy, congratulations. Thank you, sir. He shakes their hands and adds, the PM sends her best wishes. She is somewhat relieved. He smiles. Can you confirm that Alexei Orlov is dead, Gabrielle? We can, sir. Talgarth carried that out. He nods and looks at Ivy. One of these two choppers is going to London with me. The other one is going to a private hospital in the Alps, where you are both booked in for a month. Your battlefield surgery, Gabrielle, will be tidied up. But otherwise, rest and make the most of these saunas, gyms, and jacuzzis. We will, sir. In a month, come to London, Gabrielle. There's plenty going on to keep you busy. Thank you, sir. He makes a wave and walks back the way he came. Gabby and Talgarth collect their backpacks and start to walk to the second aircraft as Sir Bernard's machine lifts off the ground and peels away. As they are halfway between the woods and the Chinook, Gabby stops. Ivy, I've lost track of the number of times that you saved my life on this op. So thank you. You're good. You're very good. Maybe we'll work together again in the future. I'd like that, Mum. Let's go and get some rest. They're strapped into their helicopter and the engines start. The Chinook rises into the dawn, and the sun glints off the rotors. Then it turns in the air and heads south to Switzerland. Stay tuned for a preview of Season 7, Rogue Assassin, on British Spy Stories. For a split second she sees the masked figure from the roof, slipping into the stairwell door on the left-hand side. When she reaches the door and hurries out to the steps, she can see her quarry one flight below her. Gabby takes the stairs two at a time, then jumps to the next landing down. She's gaining. Each second she gets nearer. The assassin takes an exit from the staircase and back into the hotel. This is the first floor, and they run towards the main doors of the street called Unter den Linden. There's a sweeping flight of stairs to the exit, and they're halfway down when Gabby catches up. She grabs for the attacker and manages to get a handful of clothing. It stops them in their descent. Gabby tries a head hold and gets her arms around their neck, but they twist out of it. Gabby punches now, aiming for their face. She hits hard and repeatedly, and the impacts take effect, but the assassin fights back and has a metal cudgel in their hand. Gabby feels the impact of the metal against her body, and she can feel the skin break on her temple and blood spurt from a cut. The attacker hits again, this time on her arms, so Gabby focuses on getting the metal weapon out of their hand. She lunges, and the center of gravity of the two of them tips over and down the staircase. They both roll together at first, then separately as their bodies are pummeled on each step as they bump down. At the bottom, the assassin is up and running, the sniper rifle lashed across their back, and Gabby gives chase. They crash out into the pavement, and people nearby move out of their way as Gabby again makes contact, this time tripping the attacker, who smashes down onto the ground. She gets a firm grip, but the assassin has a combat knife too in their arsenal, and pulls it out from a pocket in their jacket. The first swipe is wide, but the second touches Gabby's body and rips through her black jeans, cutting into Gabby's flesh. She reaches out and gets fingers onto the bottom of the balaclava and pulls upwards. The mask rides up, and Gabby can see the woman's face. Catch up with Gabby on her new website, GabbyLaneSpy.com, and keep across the latest as Gabby Lane comes to a screen near you. Thanks for listening. This is British Spy Stories.
Stitch Fix. Stop shopping, get styled.
A+ on the outfit, Miss Turner. You were about to slay parent-teacher conferences.
Oh, these? Just the most perfect fitting jeans my stylist sent me.
Oh, hello, you, who didn't set one foot in a mall and still looks amazing.
Just share your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. Stitch Fix. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
To my stylist.
This look is dedicated to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Most travel programs make your company pay. With Engine, it's the opposite. Engine pays you back. Earn 1% back instantly on every hotel, every car. As your spend grows, you can tack rewards up to 5%. Real cash. Redeemable on travel. Redeemable as statement credit. Your money, your way. And free to start. Teams, travel, spend, managed. Get started at engine.com/earn.